What's up, A to Z Sports Live on this Thursday. Glad to have everybody along, and we've got some stuff to talk about today. Jack Gentry with me, Austin Stanley, here for this Thursday Talking Titans. We've got some injury updates for both the Titans and the Colts as we prepare for the first AFC South matchup of the season for the Titans. But our lead topic today, the Titans can officially start the clock for Andre Dillard getting benched. I am fired up for what we're going to talk about here. Nicholas Petit-Frere did return to practice for the first time after his gambling suspension. He was reinstated 2 weeks early. And so it's go time, baby. Jack, we're going to have a fun show today. That's for sure. We'll play some video of a development at Titans practice from yesterday with NPF being back in the fold. And we'll talk about some Traylon Burks situations as well. But Magic Bucket's going to wrap up this Thursday show, and I do have the receipts from you paying off your Magic Bucket late, but you got it done. So Jack, welcome in. Let's get this thing off the road on the road, off the rails shortly to follow. Yes.
Let's do it all. Let's do all of that. While you guys are trickling in, let's make sure to share the show. If you're watching on Facebook, share it to your Titans Facebook groups. I know y'all are all a part of those. I know y'all's conversations have been much more pleasant heading into this week after a big win over the Bengals. So make sure you share that in your Facebook groups. If you're watching on YouTube, tap that bell icon at the top of your screen. Turn those notifications on so you get an update every time A to Z Sports goes live, whether that be a live show like this, Sam's Titans content, the Vols content going up on YouTube, whatever it may be. A to Z Sports has all of your Tennessee needs, but make sure you tap that bell icon and turn those notifications on so you don't miss out. If you're watching on Twitch, text that Twitch link to your Titans text groups. Like Facebook, I imagine those conversations have been going much better. So let's get everybody in here. Let's grow this conversation. And, I mean, it's going to be a new conversation today about a returning player. So yeah. I think all of y'all are going to have some takes, and I want to hear them all. So let's be active in the chat throughout the day, and let's get this thing started.
Yeah, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Jack Gentry of the Tighten Up podcast on the A to Z Sports Podcast Network. We always go live at 8 a.m. Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for all of our great Titans content. I've actually got something fun to talk about tomorrow, maybe, about what I'm going to do on TikTok on Sunday for the first time. So keep that in tune. But got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and we help out all of you guys like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process by seeing them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. That means better coverage rates and service at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, keeping you safe online, and get a 2-week free trial with our link, aura.com/ATOZ. And Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in the Middle Tennessee area with Murfreesboro, Franklin, and Columbia. Convenient for you for all of your equipment at KrebsKubota.com. Screw it. TikTok. I'm going to be live on TikTok for at least the full first quarter on Sunday. Just going to go live and do it. So that's something that I'm excited to see how that goes. But me and Zach decided we're going to play around with some TikTok stuff yesterday when we were talking yesterday. So Jack, you and Sam will be on Titan Game Day morning coming up for the Titans at the Colts on Sunday. I will not be. So I'm just going to go live on TikTok and watch first quarter. So if you guys are on TikTok and want to watch me react to all the things in the first quarter, then you can do that. We'll see what happens after that, see how long that feels for me of just continuously watching a game on TikTok. And so we'll kind of see how that goes. But that's what I'm going to do on Sunday for the first quarter. So you can go watch that with me and see how that goes. So Jack, we're going to dive into this. First off, any reactions to me going live on TikTok?
No, I think it'll be fun. I think that's actually absolutely a fun experience. And I'm going to have to tune in while I do have the shows with Sam. I think your reactions will be fun to watch.
Yeah, you've now watched several football games next to me. Yeah. I'm definitely have emotions. So as do you. So let's get this, let's dive into this. So Jack, Sam and I talked yesterday about how the Titans roster is getting stronger as the season goes on because the return of Kyle Phillips and also the return from suspension of Nicholas Petit-Frere to the Titans offensive line. So he comes back 2 weeks early from the suspension thanks to the NFL saying our bad. And then his first Titans practice back, something a little different happens out there at St. Thomas Sports Park. So that is Nicholas Petit-Frere there via Teron Davenport working as a left tackle in individual drills at St. Thomas Sports Park with Peter Skoronski to his right. Skoronski's been the left guard. NPF is now working as a left tackle right there in practice next to Peter Skoronski, who is working his way back from an appendectomy. I find this to be fascinating. We had talked a lot about what's going to happen when NPF comes back. Maybe Chris Hubbard moves over to left tackle and NPF comes in at right tackle where he started 16 games last season. There's a lot there. I'm going to play this one more time. NPF, number 78, back at Titans practice, working on that left side. So, Jack, I'll let you react. What were your first thoughts when you saw the reports coming out yesterday afternoon that NPF got work at left tackle?
I was a little surprised. I know he played some left tackle in college, but it's always felt like the right side has been NPF's side. Part of that is probably because when he came into the league, Taylor Lewan had the left side locked up, so they didn't even really bother working him in there. But it seems like they're making a conscious effort to get him reps on that left side. And when you put Skoronski next to him, it starts to feel really real, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And so let's go to NPF in the locker room. We talked with Paul Kaharski about just what it feels like to be back after that suspension.
I mean, it's the NFL. I mean, you always have to earn everything that you have here. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter where it is. I mean, Chris has done an amazing job, but really the whole entire O-line has done an amazing job the past few weeks. So I'm just happy to be back with the boys, for me to be reacclimated, for me to be practicing again, and I just ready for me to be a part of the team again.
So NPF getting back into the swing of things at St. Thomas Sports Park with the Titans. So, Jack, I think this is very fascinating because there's a lot of moving pieces the Titans can make when it comes to their offensive line, having Skoronski back at left tackle and left guard, and then NPF working at left tackle. So let's go ahead and ask this question out of the gates. How long and how many more games will Andre Dillard start at left tackle now that NPF is back? How many more games will Andre Dillard start at left tackle with NPF back at practice? So we're going to get to all that. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know where to go, who to trust, and how to get back to full health. And that's where the Bone and Joint Institute comes into play. They do a phenomenal job in helping you out through every step of the recovery process, whatever that injury may be. If you need surgery, they've got you covered. Hopefully you don't need surgery and just work through some rehab, and all their specialists make it easy on you in Franklin, Tennessee. One-stop shop for all of your recovery needs. Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org.
BetMGM is your one-stop shop for if you're looking to get some skin in the game. They're called the king of sportsbooks for a reason. They've got an unbeatable variety. Their selection is unmatched, and it's so easy to navigate for new users. Speaking of new users, sign up with code A2Z200. Place a $10 money line, place a $10 money line wager on any pro football game, and you'll get up to $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's A2Z200. Put $10 on the money line. It can be on the Thursday night game to really be the only thing that drives you to watch the Bears Commanders play tonight. Or it could be on Sunday, but a $10 money line wager on any pro football game gets you up to $200 in bonus bets instantly. So take advantage of that offer. A2Z200 on BetMGM.
Yep. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and other requirements. First online real money wager. Only rewards issued knowledgeable bonus bets. Bonus bets inspiring 7 days. And for problem game support, call Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789. So, Jack, I'm going to send you to the chat. Nicholas Petit-Frere is back at practice. I'll play that clip again, working on the left side. So the question we ask is, how many more games will Andre Dillard start at left tackle for the Titans now that NPF is back? Once again, NPF working the left side with Peter Skoronski during individual drills Wednesday at Titans practice. All right, so Jack, I'll send you to the chat. What's everybody saying? How many more games will Andre Dillard start now that NPF is back and working at left tackle?
Dre starts us off with 3 more games. Andre Dillard has 3 more games. Proc, not as optimistic. Thinks he's out by halftime this weekend. -4 from Jason. Larry says 1. Anthony says 1. John Foster says 2. Steven agrees, just a half of a game. Scott Weaver, 2. Steven, 2. Jared Puckett, 1. Sateo, 1. Chad, 2 at the most. JR thinks, up until the bye week, it's his job. Dre Wilson again at 3. IR Hoshi says a half of a game. So that's 3 people now that believe Andre Dillard is a Titans starting left tackle for one more half of football. Steven says 1. 0 unless NPF gets hurt. Matt thinks it's NPF's job already. Bork at 2. Guy Mann with another half. Caleb Meadows, 1. Darius Horton, 1 to 2. Rooney, 2. 1 half again from Trucking with Trevor. 1 to 2 tops from Troy. Demario says 4. So, Austin, I'm going to kick it to you now. How many more games do you think NPF has, Andre Dillard has at left tackle?
Yeah, so let's look at the schedule here, is what the Titans have. I think that he's worked through the first 4 games against really good defensive fronts, and now you got Colts, Ravens bye week, and then the Atlanta Falcons at the end of this month. So here's what I think, Jack. I think what we have here is the clock officially starting. The clock is ticking now. Andre Dillard now has somebody who could beat him out and be his replacement if he doesn't play better football. So I think, honestly, he's going to get the next 2. I don't think NPF is going to be ready to work his way back and play in a game and start over the next 2 weeks, especially when there's 2 road games, because they're traveling to London. I know it's technically a home game for the Titans, but that's the longest road game you could possibly have. So I think it's going to be at least 2 more starts for Andre Dillard at left tackle as NPF gets back. And then I think the correct answer is you're circling that Atlanta Falcons game on October 29th, and you're going to say, all right, if Andre Dillard doesn't have his head on straight and doesn't stop allowing edge rushers to bulldoze him or edge rushers to cross his face and tackle Derrick Henry in the backfield, I think you got to move on from it. So look, the Titans can start this clock. NPF is here. So Jack, you can give your answer and we can go deeper into this conversation. I think there's a lot more to it when it comes to all these different layers.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely. It's a fascinating conversation to have too, because, NPF was drafted to be the Titans right tackle. However, with the left tackle job kind of up in the air, you want to put one of your better athletes up front over there. And I'm a big believer in if it's not broken, there's no need to fix it. And at right tackle right now, it's not broken. Hubbard has done well over there. I don't see a reason to move him around or shuffle anything up. Like that, the right side of the offensive line, I trust right now. Now, could it be better? Sure, but I trust it. At the left tackle spot, it gets really interesting because NPF started 11 games at left tackle his senior year at Ohio State, earned All-American honors, first team. And people forget as much as he is athletic, he's also a cerebral guy. Like this is an all-academic Big Ten dude we're talking about in college. He can pick things up pretty quickly. And, looking back at some of his draft profiles, a lot of people had him pegged as a left tackle coming out because he works better in pass sets on the left side than he does on the right. So that offers some optimism in pass protection for Tannehill, where Dillard's been getting, his ass beat like a drum for the first 4 weeks of the season. I think it's touch and go. Right now, I think it's touch and go. I think it could be a half because NPF's good enough and athletic enough to slide in there if things are going terribly. If Andre Dillard gives up 3 sacks in the first half, I think he's done. Like, what you have in NPF athletically. Now, can he, properly acclimate to the left tackle position immediately? We'll see. That's a big ask for anybody. But I think it could be a half. I think it could be after the bye week. It's at this point, it's touch and go until he's ready, which I do believe, like you said, comes after the bye week against Atlanta, where full time we can start seeing him in that role. And then you have Andre Dillard playing the Dennis Kelly role, the swing tackle. He's got experience on the left side, had 9 starts on the left side in Philadelphia, and has experience on the right side as well in Philadelphia. So after Mailata came in and took his job. So I think you have options, and more importantly, you have depth now that NPF is back. But you got to figure out who's going to be that starting 5. And if Dillard slips up for another half of football, I think we start seeing NPF mixed in.
Yeah. So look, I think Andre Dillard is not going to play any other position on the Titans offensive line other than left tackle. Like I don't even know if he's going to be a swing tackle. I think Andre Dillard, and I know Buck has talked about this. Buck's got a good relationship with Greg Cosell, one of the top film analysts in the NFL with NFL Films. Greg is very adamant that the experiment of Andre Dillard as a right tackle failed as hard as it possibly could have failed. Failed harder than the Sixers trading for James Harden in Philadelphia, right? Like it was that big of a failure of Andre Dillard trying to play right tackle. And so I don't think that's good. I think it's left tackle or bust for Andre Dillard. So I do think there is a big difference. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say injuries can change things though, because there isn't really any depth behind NPF, Hubbard, and Dillard. Like Jalen Duncan's not ready to go out there. Radens, are we sure that Radens is the answer at the tackle position? He looked good at guard.
He looked better than Xavier Newman at guard. Peter Skoronski is still the best offensive lineman this team has when he's back from his appendectomy fully. So I think there's a big difference in this year and last year because, Jack, you remember, we watched Dennis Daly being a turnstile, being saloon doors for terrible. Months and months and months last year, and everybody's pulling their hair out and screaming at Mike Vrabel through whatever you're watching Mike Vrabel on, like, do something different. I almost knocked the magic bucket over. Do something different. Play somebody else at left tackle. And then it was like December 17th at the LA Chargers. Oh my gosh, Dylan Radens is playing left tackle. Oh crap, he tore his ACL. And then Dennis Daly is back in there. And so I think the biggest difference is with NPF, you've got your replacement for Andre Dillard if he keeps struggling. So you didn't have that automatically last year behind Dennis Daly because Lawan goes down, like you mentioned off top of the show. Dennis Daly was a late training camp trade to be a swing tackle, not a starter. Lawan goes down again. Daly's in there. Then you've got NPF on the right side as a rookie who beat out Radens for the right tackle, a second-year guy. And then you're sitting there going, like, I don't think I can trust Dylan Radens, who couldn't win the right tackle job, to now become a good left tackle. But Daly was awful. But now you've got NPF, who's got 16 starting games of experience at right side that could be there as a backup plan. He is the fire extinguisher on the wall. NPF is to replace Andre Dillard if he continues to suck.
Yeah, and let's dive a little deeper even. I think that a lot of people are going to get upset because the Titans brought in Andre Dillard on a 3-year deal worth $29 million. Now there is an out after next season for the Titans can get away without, hurting themselves in the cap. But could this be a blessing in disguise for the Titans? Could NPF potentially solve the crisis at left tackle for years to come? I mean, we're going to get a look at him at on the left side eventually if Dillard keeps this up. Like if NPF looks good on the left side, your draft plans change, your draft priorities change, and you start to feel comfortable about the future up front with Skoronski and potentially NPF holding down the left side. That's exciting to me. I know it's an experiment, and I know like there's probably less than a 50% shot that it works out long term at left tackle for NPF. But I'm willing to roll the dice at this stage. I want to see what they've gotten in NPF. And, I know he didn't look good in the preseason on the right side, but maybe getting back on the left side like he was, in his final year at Ohio State, solve some of these issues we've been seeing.
Yeah, so Brad's correct. NPF was not very good in the preseason. I talked about that some yesterday with Sam of just, I think that suspension mentally kind of messed with NPF. I think he was a little bit kind of thrown off and down on himself. And maybe now that he's back in practicing and he got to come back, he got out of his suspension sentence 2 weeks early. Maybe he feels better about this. I did favorite some comments. I want to get to this before we ask our second question. Timmy Sama says Dillard just looks super weak and has horrible feet and plays with piss poor leverage. So I think Andre Dillard's feet are actually one of his better attributes. Where I think Andre Dillard's weak at, because I agree, I think he's super weak. I think you're right. I think Andre Dillard's hands are terrible. I also think he doesn't know how to play, as Timmy says, with leverage. You're correct on that. I just don't think he has any good anchor. I don't think Andre Dillard has good play strength. I think he's kind of soft. Like, and yeah. That's usually that's a word that you're usually not supposed to talk about with football players. You just ask Ryan Day, that soft.
Yeah. But,
hey, somebody may, if Ryan Day reacts to somebody calling his football team soft like that, and remember, Derrick Henry called himself soft before he just busted out to become a Hall of Fame level running back in 2019. Derrick Henry hadn't always been like this. Derrick Henry called himself out in 2018, so that he was running soft. I think Andre Dillard has a tendency to play soft. And so if Andre Dillard can play like his height and weight, I think he could be a lot better, but that we have to see it before I can come out here and say Andre Dillard's figured it out.
I mean, we're running out of adjectives to describe Andre Dillard's play on the left side. Like, even when the offensive line looked okay on Sunday, there were still a couple of plays that Andre Dillard blew. And it caused hits in the backfield, hits on Tannehill. So he's kind of forced our hand, right?
Real quick.
Soft is one of the last words left.
Even if Andre Dillard heard me say I was soft, Austin, he ain't bringing it up like Darren Bates would. Yes, you're exactly correct. Like, if I'm out here saying that Andre Dillard's playing soft at left tackle, it's not my job for A to Z to go to the locker room and go to media availability during the season. That's what Sam does. That's not my role anymore. It used to be. And that's when Taylor Lewan called out Zach to his face for saying he's not a Pro Bowl left tackle. So it's not like we're afraid of doing this. I don't think Andre Dillard would do a damn thing. First off, I don't think Andre Dillard would know that I said it unless one of you guys told him. But I don't think Andre Dillard would do anything. I think he would, he already tries to run away from the media after giving up a bunch of sacks in Cleveland there. So I'm with Trey. I don't think Andre Dillard's going to bring up anything to anybody who wants to call him soft. I just think that's part of why he's soft.
He is kind of a gentle giant. And, part of these offensive lines that we've seen from Tennessee, they don't talk a lot, but it's like that old quote. One of the Roosevelts said it. Speak softly, or maybe it was, who knows who said this, speak softly, but carry a big stick, right? Like Ben Jones, you didn't hear a whole lot from him.
Yeah.
I think it could have been Woodrow Wilson.
One of the Roosevelts.
or maybe even Winston Churchill, some old man that's now dead, said that quote. And I think that Ben Jones, he wasn't very vocal, but he did his job. Like there's a lot, like Lewan was loud and boisterous, and he had that dog in him, but I think that Andre Dillard's just more of a gentle giant. Lacking that dog trait that we've seen up front for the Titans over the last few years.
What was the quote again?
Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Attribute that, dash old white man who is now dead. Yeah.
Speak soft. Let's just get to the bottom of this right now. Theodore Roosevelt. So I was right initially. Okay.
It was Teddy. One of Roosevelt's.
I know history.
Yeah, Jack knows history. One of the Roosevelts just covers. You could have said one of the Kennedys, and maybe it would have been a wider net. All right. So IR Hoshi says, if y'all see the all 22 from last week's games, don't let those Dillard stats fool you. They were giving him double team help all day. They cannot keep doing that. Well, they should have been doing that against Myles Garrett and the Browns, but it took them a quarter and a half to get to that point. And by that point, it was too late. So I think. IR Hoshi's correct. While the results were better, the offensive line protected better for Tannehill. Dillard and his offensive line mates blocked better in the run game. I've said this since game day, Jack, that in that second quarter, when Derrick Henry busted that 29-yard touchdown run, Andre Dillard was 8-9 yards down the field blocking somebody for Derrick Henry to have that extra room to bounce it outside after breaking 3 tackles. So Andre Dillard had some good reps, but he also had some bad reps in that game. So I've got some other comments starred to get to later, but they kind of fit in what our next question is going to be. And that's just to ask, what would the Titans' ideal starting O-line be moving forward? That's what I want to know. What would the Titans, in your mind, what's the Titans' ideal starting O-line moving forward? The ideal situation, right? So let's get to that here in a second. But first, I want to tell you guys all about Krebs Kubota. They're the ideal equipment providers in Middle Tennessee. When you're looking for any type of equipment for your property, for your home, Krebs Kubota is where to go. If you're anywhere near the Middle Tennessee area, don't go anywhere else besides Krebs Kubota, because they've got the elite Kubota brand that makes it possible to have the best equipment in the industry, but also the best warranties with what you get with Kubota, but also the Krebs family name. They've been doing it for over 18 years in Middle Tennessee. They take care of you because that's what it's all about. Relationships. What is life without relationships? It's a bunch of trying to figure out the right way to do it and the right people to help you out. And Krebs can do that. Again, 3 locations in Middle Tennessee, in Murfreesboro, Columbia, and in Franklin. An elite Kubota dealership with Krebs Kubota, online at KrebsKubota.com.
Trust is also a very important aspect in a relationship, and BetMGM is one of the most trustworthy sports books you're going to be able to find. It's the king of sports books, but we've got a promo code right now that they're running for new users. So we want you all to take advantage of this. If you sign up with code A to Z 200, put a $10 money line wager on any pro football game, you'll receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. Code A to Z 200, put a $10 money line wager down on tonight's Thursday night football game, or a football game that comes on Sunday, and you'll get up to $200 in bonus bets instantly. It's free money, people. Take advantage of this offer. Start out in the green on BetMGM.
All right, so Jack, I'm going to send you to the chat asking, what would the Titans' ideal starting offensive line be moving forward this season? Again, we've talked a lot. Teron Davenport had the video of NPF playing on the left side next to Peter Skoronski in practice yesterday. Andre Dillard has been the left tackle. Aaron Brewer has been, I know he's undersized and he has, the ability to get blown up here and there, but I think Aaron Brewer thus far has been serviceable, to say the very least, about Aaron Brewer. And then Daniel Brunskill's graded out very highly at right guard, the free agent signing. And then Chris Hubbard, who was basically, I called NPF the fire extinguisher behind the glass on the wall. Chris Hubbard was the fire extinguisher in August when Jamarco Jones kept starting fires with fights at practice. You just got Chris Hubbard and just blew that fire extinguisher all over Jamarco Jones, said, go away. And that's worked out pretty well. So, Jack, to the chat you go, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. What is the ideal O-line moving forward for the Titans? I'll let you get to the chat here.
We'll start with Derek, who believes Dylan Radins on the left side works. Radins, Skoronski, Brewer, Brunskill, Hubbard. I feel like we're going to be pretty set on the right side of this offensive line just based on these early comments. NPF at the left tackle spot from Puckett. Let's see. We're going to keep scrolling here. Just insert NPF where Dillard is. Dillard backs up the left tackle, and Radins is a swing guard. Kind of what I said from IR Hoshi. Let's see. We're going to keep going here. Mr. Jones says, Radins, Skoronski, Brewer, Brunskill, Hubbard. Okay, another Radins at left tackle. NPF on the left side from Steven. Andre Bunting says NPF at left tackle. Skoronski, Brunskill, Radins, Hubbard. He doesn't like Brewer, but I don't know that Radins is a center option. Titans Kyle says,
I will say, time out. Sorry. Radins as a center is not a terrible long-term idea, but you don't do that in October.
and you don't do that unless you have a major problem with Brewer, right?
Yeah, you don't do that until, and like, here's how Dylan Radins becomes a center. All right, Mike Vrabel, it's the end of the year. Titans are done playing for this season. Mike Vrabel's having all of his exit interviews. Hey, Dylan, come on in here. Hey, you know what? We're curious to see what you could do at center. So, it's January right now, so you've got several months to figure this out. But, I think you should go work on snaps and playing the center position to seeing what that could do for us. Because, look, you could be a center. Your body type could be a center for a long time in this league. But do you have the skill sets to develop that? Now you've got February, March, and April before you get back in the building to maybe try out center once we get into OTAs in May, right? Like, that's when Dylan Radins gets center. is in, the exit interview before you break for the offseason.
And he's had a lot to take on already, just learning both the inside and the outside on both sides. Titans Kyle.
Sorry, real quick.
Sorry,
just before we move on. I did see Trey said Brunskill has played center, but put Radens at right guard then. And then I did see Brad said that Andre is saying Brunskill could be center. I mean, yes, Daniel Brunskill's attractiveness was that he has played all five, right? So a lot of people.
But don't you like what you've seen out of him at right guard? Like,
yes.
Like once again, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, and look,
and the right side hasn't been broke.
Right. And, I know Trey, and Steven says Austin Stanley, next Titans head coach. I don't want that pressure. I'm good. Trey, ironically went to my high school, is a few years older than me, but he played offensive line. You'd rather move one piece than move multiple to fix one. Like, you don't want to move two offensive linemen to fix one problem.
Exactly. So I'll just keep reading these comments that are rolling in. They continue to roll in. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them. But
read Titans Kyle's because I accidentally made you skip him.
NPF Skoronsky, Brewer, Brunskill, Hubbard. I like that from Titans Kyle. NPF Skorandi and Brew Bruns. Okay, we got to do better. Let's do better. The next comment. Raiden, Skoronsky, Brewer, NPF at right guard. Hubbard, Brunskill as a guy that you can play everywhere. You want to bench Brunskill. That's an interesting strategy. I don't know that I'm behind that. Caleb Meadows says NPF Skoronsky, Brewer, Brunskill, Hubbard. So that seems to be taking the majority right there. NPF and Skoronsky running the left side from Curtis. NPF on the left side. Keep everything as it is right now from Troy. Kind of the same thing as we keep going down here. Titans Fox agrees. Darius also agrees. So, Austin, the way things look right now at this point in the season, who are your starting five up front?
Real quick, because I want you to go first.
Okay, I can go first too.
But I want to read Zachary Hook. Pete picked at 11 should be a tackle. Pete should be left tackle. Radens looks good at left guard. Brewer's too small. Put Brunskill at center. NPF at right guard to keep Hubbard at right tackle. Now that is absolute musical chairs. Because did anybody
not gonna work?
Chris Hubbard is the only person in this musical chair game who sat down in his original chair. Like everybody else found something else. And hey, I'm fine with Andre Dillard potentially being the guy who's looking around like, oh man, I don't have a chair. You're out, Andre. Like I'm fine with that, but you don't want to play that many musical chairs here. And then Esco Richard says you fix Dillard with NPF. Brewer becomes the next issue on the line. So I don't disagree with that. I think with Aaron Brewer, he's on a 1-year contract and it's the restricted free agent tender that he signed. You want to find out what Aaron Brewer can be for you here. You'd rather him play as much as possible before he's not a long-term answer at center because he's getting like $4 million on a restricted free agent tender. So you want to go ahead and let him play that out because you're paying him to. But that kind of, you're also paying Andre Dillard $13 million guaranteed over these 3 years. So, Jack, now I'll toss it to you. What is your ideal offensive line moving forward this season?
Yeah, so I like the four guys that they have right now. At left guard, I want Skoronsky, center, Brewer, right guard, Brunskill, right tackle, Hubbard. I think that group can work together, has worked together, and shown some things that, they're not going to be a top 10 group, but they can be a competent group. And right now, Titans fans are looking for competency on the offensive line. At left tackle, I think it's NPF. I've got to have NPF at left tackle. I want to see what he can do out there. You want to find ways for him to contribute. I know that Andre Dillard was kind of like a half-ass roll of the dice this offseason where you didn't really want to spend money at left tackle, but you had to bring somebody in. Andre Dillard, who was a backup in Philadelphia, you now throw in as your starting left tackle. It's a risky strategy. It hasn't paid off yet. Let's see what NPF can do. Like I said earlier, played left tackle at Ohio State in 2021, was an All-American, has athleticism. They said he looked better in pass sets on the left side of the offensive line coming out of college. He's got great hands. His hands are his best asset. And I think that, if he pans out on the left side, it's a risk worth taking because that then solves your issue at left tackle for the next couple of years. And, Andre Dillard just becomes, a swing tackle. You don't think he's going to swing to the right side, but, with the depth that the Titans have behind these guys, I think that Dillard could serve as a Dennis Kelly type situation. But NPF is my left tackle. I want to keep everything the same. and bring NPF all the way on the left side.
Okay, so that's what you're saying. NPF on the left side. So I'm going to get to my answer on this. What's your ideal offensive line for the Titans moving forward? I do want to mention this, that because you kind of brought up like the half-ass roll the dice on the free agency left tackle.
It wasn't really an answer. It was like a temporary Band-Aid.
Yeah, it was you kind of had to do what you had to do, like, because I'm going back Pro Football Focus, who, Pro Football Focus is okay as a secondary source. Pro Football Focus does not need to be your primary source. But as a secondary source, Pro Football Focus, and I'm trying to see who authored this so I can give, well, now I can't find the author, which is a problem. Oh, Brad Spielberger, my fault. Orlando Brown Jr., Mike McGlinchey. Those two were the top free agent tackles. And then you have Jawan Taylor, who has actually not played great for the Chiefs as a right tackle. Jawan Taylor signed a 4-year, $80 million deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. So $80 million over 4 years is not something Rand Carthon and the Titans could have done. Andre Dillard is not listed as a top 15 tackle free agent on this list. George Fant is. George Fant was more expensive than what the Titans wanted to pay when they brought in Chris Hubbard, because George Fant did work out for the Titans, and the Titans did offer George Fant a contract at league minimum, but he didn't take it in that situation.
You've got to, I know that they didn't have it in the budget this offseason, but they certainly do next offseason, which makes the Dillard deal even more confusing because it's a 3-year deal and you do have an out after 2, but you got to spend money to make money. And at left tackle, it's not really a position you can afford to be cheap at, because you're going to get your quarterback killed. What happens when you get your quarterback killed? Well, you lose 7 games like you did last year. So I understand they didn't have it in the budget, but at some point, if you can't hit in the draft, you've got to be willing to, throw some money at that problem.
Yeah. MB says, Austin, unfortunately, you pay for what you get. Liberty, liberty, liberty. Okay. So here's what I think, Jack. The ideal Titans starting offensive line moving forward, I'm going to go right to left. You get a little suspense here. Chris Hubbard, right tackle. Daniel Brunskill, right guard. Aaron Brewer, center. Peter Skoronski, left guard. And Andre Dillard at left tackle. That is the ideal starting offensive line for the Tennessee Titans. Because honestly, like, I know what you kind of talked earlier, like, what if
it works?
Right. What if NPF at left tackle is your solution? Now you've got a second-year player at left tackle next to a first-round pick at left guard, and you're like, oh, that works out. Like, that could be a long-term plan of NPF and Skoronski left side. I don't think NPF is that high level of a player. But you also, what you ideally want to have happen is for Andre Dillard to get his head on straight and stay your left tackle, because you're paying him enough money to play a lot. $9 million a year on average, $13 million guaranteed. As somebody in the chat said, Timmy said some good comments today. Jack, that's a lot of money for a damn swing tackle, right?
Hey, I didn't give him the contract.
No, I know you didn't. But so I think if you're the coaching staff and Rand Carthon, the ideal situation is for Dillard to figure it out, stay at left tackle, and then Chris Hubbard's on a 1-year deal that he signed in the middle of training camp. Chris Hubbard's 30-ish plus years old. You want NPF to be your right tackle long-term, and you've got Dillard on a contract for 2 more seasons after this. So I think you would rather have NPF be able to be your swing guy right now and just understand there's an asterisk on Nicholas Petit-Frere's 2023 season. The gambling suspension messed it up. But one of the things the Titans loved about NPF coming out of Ohio State was his ability to go from left to right to left at times within the same game. Like John Robinson, I asked John Robinson to his face, and he said, yeah, in the same game. Like, there's a different type of skill set and intelligence to be able to go from left to right to left within the same game. So now you've got NPF as a great swing option right now, because he's coming in a quarter of the season into it off the suspension to be your swing guy. Because right now, who's the swing guy? Who's the third tackle when, I mean, they didn't have to use him, But who was the third tackle the last 4 games before NPF was back? Jalen Duncan played like a couple big tight end snaps, I think.
Yeah, and they don't trust him out there for
no,
a
it's not.
60.
He's not. But like that's like I think that is your ideal situation because Brunskill's on a 2-year deal, Skoronski's a first-round pick, Hubbard's a 1-year deal, Dillard a 3-year deal, and Brewer the restricted free agent. I think your ideal situation is let Dillard figure it out.
I understand. Like I hear you on that, and I think that as long as it works, I'm okay, obviously. But I think that there is an issue that we haven't really brought up yet about NPF moving to the left side. Like Peter Skoronski's a rookie, and he hasn't had a whole lot of experience playing next to Andre Dillard. Now you throw in a completely different player, an NPF next to him. They're not going to sync instantly. They're not going to gel immediately. So that's going to take some time as well, which is probably why Andre Dillard has at least until the bye week to figure it out. Because that's chemistry that takes time and that takes reps. And if you're not able to get them in a game, you're gonna have to find out a way to get them in practice. Mm-hmm. And with Peter Skoronski not being available the last few weeks, I mean, who knows how they work together, just Dillard and Skoronski when he returns. So there's a lot of question marks. And really, the first things first, Skoronski's got to get back out there and start stacking reps, start stacking good days in practice, and hopefully that translates to good games on the field on Sunday. But when you eventually, if you ever have to work NPF in at the left side, they're going to have to work really hard on that in practice because just the lack of chemistry there, a lot of things can go wrong. We've seen on that 4th down play against the Chargers, Radens and Dillard not syncing. They were not in sync. They kind of opened like those sliding doors you were talking about earlier in the show, and it killed. They got Tannehill killed on a crucial 4th down. So if NPF is going to come in at left tackle, he's got to be fully ready, and Skoronski's got to really kind of have an understanding of what the two will kind of have to. What they'll have to do to work together on that left side.
Yeah. Jason says, I'm not fine with Dillard not having a chair in our musical chair game. That dude costs a bunch. So I think the money thing is where Andre Dillard does have. I'm about to make a really bad dad joke. Andre Dillard's leverage is better off the field than on the field because of the money that he's making. So I think that's where Andre Dillard has that in his back pocket.
But Vrabel doesn't care about that. He's not going to pay, or he's not going to play the 11 highest paid players on the team if they're not working. Like, he doesn't care how much these guys cost. And I know, Rand Carthon, he might look bad if you bench Andre Dillard, but at the end of the day, you still got to win games. Nobody's going to get mad at you for winning football games, no matter who's out there for you. As long as they're contributing, as long as they're, producing in a win, nobody's going to get upset. So just because a guy costs a lot of money doesn't mean he has to play if he's playing bad.
Yeah, I'm pulling up Andre Dillard's contract just so I make sure I have it right, because somebody said that he's only got guaranteed money for 1 year. No, I believe no, he's got guaranteed money next season as well, because his base salary is $9 million. If you do cut him next year, then he counts 7.8 million against the dead cap. So you're kind of stuck with him. Gosh, he would have to be.
Have to do that.
Huh?
You didn't have to give him a 3-year deal.
Yeah. Who are you competing?
You didn't have to do that. Like, you need one eventually. You need to draft the left tackle eventually. You give him a 3-year deal. That was a mistake. I think we're gonna look back on the Dillard contract as a big error from Carthon.
Yeah. Because here it is, the out after 2024 season, you only have he's 3.6 dead cap because his base salary in 2025 goes up to 11.5.
But like, what purpose does he serve if he's not starting?
Exactly, because he can't play swing. That's why I think he is your left tackle for the rest of the season. Ideally,
sure, he figures it out. Yeah.
You want that to happen. Andre says you should have created the $10 million of space sooner and gotten George Fant. I know this for a fact, Andre. Like, the Titans brought George Fant in for a workout on a Saturday when they didn't have camp practice. They worked him out. They offered him a contract at league minimum. He did not take it. He went to the Houston Texans. The Titans got Chris Hubbard. Chris Hubbard's been pretty solid outside of the Cleveland game and a couple other moments. But George Fant also got hurt at some point with the Texans. I'm not sure if he's still banged up with a shoulder injury or not. I don't know Jack, have you been keeping up with the Texans injury reports?
I know that their entire offensive line's hurt, but
because
Tunzel's
out.
About George Fant.
both
tackles
Greens.
and
Both
Green,
Greens are now out. You know, Kendrick
Mhm.
Green and the other Green both had season-ending surgeries. They traded for a second Green once the first Green went out. So I don't know if George Fant is doing anything with the Texans or not. That's just an honest answer.
Yeah, to take a quote from the campaign, it's a mess. I
It's-
can't wait. I can't wait for the Titans pass rush to get a hold of the Texans offensive line.
Yeah, get your brooms. All right,
Get
so
your brooms.
God, I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. All right, speaking of mess, let's talk about the Titans injury report and the Colts injury report here in a second. We'll get to those injury report updates and conversation about Traylon Burks missing practice again. But first, Farm Bureau Health Plans is where you can turn for all of your health coverage needs. Plan on Farm Bureau Health Plans for health, dental, and vision. FBHP.com/ATOZ is the website to check them out. With Farm Bureau Health Plans, they've been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years, and they can make a plan fit for you, whatever your situation may be. Maybe you're single and out there conquering the world on your own. Maybe you've got a growing family. Maybe your family has grown and now they've moved out, and you and your spouse are empty nesters. You need that next level of health coverage. Farm Bureau Health Plans does it all for you to serve you as a Tennessean. So start your process at FBHP.com/ATOZ.
Start your sports betting process at BetMGM, the king of sports books. If you want to get any skin in the game, BetMGM is absolutely the place to do it. If you don't currently have a BetMGM account, don't worry. Don't stress about it. There's still a way to make money today. Use code A2Z200 when you sign up. Put a $10 moneyline wager down on any pro football game, and you'll receive up to $200 in bonus bets instantly. $200 in bonus bets instantly just for placing a $10 moneyline wager on a pro football game. That is so easy. That is some free cheese. Sprinkle a little $10 on the money line for the Titans this week if you want. You know, that line's been moving all week. The Titans are now favorites. But BetMGM is the place for you to get some skin in the game. So sign up with code A2Z200. That $10 money line wager will get you $200 in bonus bets instantly.
All right, so I want to show the injury report, and we're going to ask this question. So go ahead and get your comments ready. Traylon Burks did not practice again for the Titans. Is that a big deal, small deal, or no deal? We'll show the Titans injury report right here. Traylon Burks' knee did not practice. Luke Gifford hamstring did not practice. T.R. Tort with a knee did not practice. Mike Vrabel actually answered that in his press conference on Wednesday ahead of practice. Elijah Molden hamstring was limited. You see NPF right there was full participant returning from the suspension. Kyle Phillips knee full. Peter Skoronski abdomen full, big deal there. And Josh Wiley with an ankle was a full participant. So Jack, as these comments continue to roll in, I'm going to go update the Colts injury report. They had 8 players that did not practice, some large names on there, and Mo Alley Cox, DeForest Buckner, Quentin Nelson did not practice. I don't think Ryan Kelly, the center, practiced as well. What's his name? The linebacker that changes his name a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Darius Leonard catches another stiff arm, he's going to run out of names.
Darius Leonard, or what's his new name?
Shaquille Leonard.
Shaquille Leonard, yeah. He didn't practice either. And then Jonathan Taylor has been designated to return. So that's kind of the Colts thing. But I'll let you go to the chat. Big deal, small deal, or no deal that Traylon Burks did not practice again with a knee injury after not playing last week with a knee injury.
Matt believes it's a small deal. Ashley says it's a big deal. Lou Man says a no deal. So right off the bat, 3 different comments. IR says big deal. Dre says big deal. Anthony says no deal. Fatty Matty says very big deal. Can't stay on the field. That's not good. No deal from Run Left. Small deal from Scott Weaver. Small deal from William Davis. As I continue to scroll in the chat here. No deal from Mr. Jones. No deal from Troy Wood. No deal from Stephen King. We talking about practice? Small deal from Jared Puckett. Big deal from Curtis C. Small deal from Denise. Big from Jason. Big deal from Jabu. Small deal from Billy Jones. Small deal from Ronnie Sneed. If the wide receivers show up like they did on Sunday, then it's no deal. Big freaking deal, says Jody Newell. Burks is a no deal, says Jesse. Trey says big deal in all caps because of the potential of him further injuring himself. Burks not practicing is the usual deal from Roger, going off script there a little bit. Austin, Traylon Burks isn't practicing again today, or excuse me, didn't practice again yesterday.
Yeah.
Big deal, small deal, or no deal?
Well, do you want to go first? Or you and me go first?
Well, I mean, I'll go first. I can go first. Second, you put me anywhere in the lineup, I'm going to get a hit.
All right, lead off. Well, the chat leads off, so you can be in the second hole.
Okay, I'll be in the 2-hole. I think it's a big deal. I think anytime you're without your first round pick, especially at a position where the Titans are a little thin at wide receiver, it's going to be a big deal. Now, you can make a case that it's a small deal based on the way these wide receivers have stepped up lately. I mean, we're talking about 4 different receivers last week that had a catch of at least 20-plus yards. NWI had a 22-yard catch. Wiley had a 24-yard catch to set up a touchdown. D-Hop with that 38-yard catch. And then Chris Moore, as usual, comes up with a 40-yard catch, get a 44-yard reception. So with the way those guys played last week, you'd think it's a no deal. But how consistently are we going to get that from the Titans passing attack? Play action was working, but again, Treylon Burks is a huge yards after catch guy. These other dudes, NWI, D-Hop, Chris Moore, none of them really get it done after the catch. In fact, Derrick Henry leads the team in yards after the catch, which isn't shocking because they set him up on screens and stuff to where he's able to find some green grass in front of him. But second on that list is Nick Westbrook-Akine. Who would have thought that? Like that is not, NWI's had a good season, don't get me wrong, but I think that you could do a little better in yards after the catch than NWI as your top receiver. So missing Treylon Burks in that regard absolutely hurts. He's had some drops, but he's explosive. We saw the 75-yard catch he had, in the Titans game against the Chargers. So there's a lot that they're missing with Treylon Burks. There's a lot they can't do on offense without Treylon Burks. But if these dudes step up, you feel a little better. However, we're talking about a dude that the Titans are hoping to hang their hat on for the future. He's supposed to be a cornerstone for this offense.
Yeah.
And him missing more time after already missing a ton of time last year, it's a big deal for me.
Sorry, so you're a big deal. I'm going to answer small deal. Because I think of where the Titans are at on the schedule. I think the Titans will find themselves battling for a playoff spot later in the year for the AFC South. Everybody's 2-2 right now. We know that, right? So, I don't think it's worth Treylon Burks pushing through and playing in week 5 is not worth it, for the long haul, right? So I'm going to say small deal because of the fact that he's hurt again. From what I've heard from, Buck mentioned on the air yesterday on radio, that this is not the LCL knee injury. It's not the same injury. It could be the same knee. I don't think we know that for a fact yet. But, I think if it's a different injury than the LCL sprain, then that is a concern. And if it's the same knee as the LCL sprain, then you want to make sure you take that slowly and be cautious with it. And I think the fact that you've got, a road game, plane rides, inflammation, then another London game, a long plane ride with a lot of inflammation, bye week, right? I think, can you get what you had against the Bengals with the pass catchers against the Colts? Yeah, sure. So get through that, see where you're at, and then see, okay, are you now 3-2, where we've talked about this, Jack? If you're 3-2 going to London, that's bonus. So you don't risk. So whenever you've got bonus, you don't risk your first round pick receiver for a bonus game. You wait for the bye week and see what happens later in the month. So I think it's a small deal. I do want to address something though too, because a lot of people are bringing up, he's always hurt. He never practices. Here we go again. Usual deal, right? Have you, and I'm saying you to everybody, have you labeled Treylon Burks as injury prone yet? I want you to think on that. Have you labeled Treylon Burks as injury prone yet? But first, I'm going to tell you guys about Aura. Aura is where you should go for all of your internet safety. Aura.com/ATOZ for a 2-week free trial. A 2-week free trial with Aura to find out how many data brokers are profiting off of selling your information to telemarketers, spammers, and robocallers. They found 30 of them were doing that to me, and they opted me out on my behalf and requested me to get my information stripped away from those data brokers. Now I don't get these robo and spam calls anymore. I don't have telemarketers calling me up to asking me if I have, if I want my car warranties running out or whatever the hell they're trying to make up to get money off of me. I don't have that because Aura is protecting my information. Aura also manages and protects my passwords. So if one of my passwords gets leaked in a data breach, Aura notifies me and they let me know to change it. That's super convenient and easy and simple when it does that. So a 2-week free trial is what you get when you sign up with our link, aura.com/ATOZ for a 2-week free trial with aura.com/ATOZ.
That's a pretty sweet offer, almost as great as the one that BetMGM is promoting this week. And that is for new users to use code A to Z200 when you sign up with BetMGM. If I can get the logo pulled up, my computer's acting up. A to Z200, $10 money line wager on a pro football game, and you'll receive $200 instantly in bonus bets. So $10, all you got to do is sprinkle a $10 money line wager on any pro football game going on this weekend. There's 16 of them. And you'll receive up to $200 in bonus bets instantly. It's free money. It's immediate. It's right now. It's starting in the green. It's everything you could ever want when you start off with your new sports book. So make sure you do it with BetMGM and use our code A to Z200.
All right, Jack. So I asked the question, have you labeled Treylon Burks injury prone yet? I'll let you go to the chat here. Hopefully your computer's not hiccuping anymore. I'll let you go to the chat. Well, I'll let you answer first. Sorry. I'll let you answer first. Have you labeled Treylon Burks injury prone yet?
Yes. How could you not? I mean, the Titans have played. Yeah. The Titans have played 21 games since Treylon Burks was drafted. Treylon Burks has participated in just 11 of those games. And if we're talking about a different injury than the LCL, like if you have one recurring issue, that's different. You know, if you're hurting multiple things or, two injuries in the same knee or both knees have been, you've missed games due to both knees in your first 2 seasons in the NFL. I mean, this is a bad start for Treylon Burks, and it's not his fault for getting injured. Injuries happen in this game, but it's hard not to label him as injury prone so far. And he's not a Julio Jones. Julio Jones came to Tennessee collecting Social Security checks. Like Treylon Burks is too young to be this injured and miss this much time already.
All right. So Jody says getting close to labeling him injury prone. William says yes. Chris Frazier says yes, Austin. I've been telling you that. CJ says yes, unfortunately. Ashley says yeah. Titans Cal says not yet, but starting to see it become a trend. Hello Lady says Burks is soft. I don't think so. I think Treylon Burks is somebody that would not react very well if you called him soft, unlike Andre Dillard. Brock says, yep, he's Corey Davis 2.0, unfortunately. Billy Jones says not yet, very close. Andre says yes. Titans Kyle says not yet, but starting to, that's a typo there. Ryan says no concussion, and he got rolled up on last year. That's where I'll start, because Ryan and I, same page. Treylon Burks is not injury prone. Like last year, he got turf toe because a large human being fell on his foot when it was in a vulnerable spot in Indianapolis, like completely out of his control. That's just bad luck. Turf toe, bad luck right there. Then he got a concussion. Why? Because Marcus Epps cheap shotted him in the face, and he caught the ball for a touchdown. His only touchdown he scored in the NFL catching the football is when he got concussed, which is a wild stat too. That's not an injury prone situation. He hasn't had another concussion either. I think when you start to get worried is a guy like Amani Hooker, who has multiple concussions over a 1 or 2 year span. So then you've got this LCL thing. And because of how close it is, how close this new knee injury is to the LCL sprain, I don't think it's injury prone. I kind of call it and think about it as related. It might not be the LCL that is now re-sprained, but it could be a consequence of playing in week 1 against the Saints 3 weeks after you sprained your LCL, right? Like that's kind of where I'm at. So no, I don't think Treylon Burks is injury prone. I think he had 2 unfortunate situations as a rookie, and he sprained his knee in training camp, and now he's dealing with a knee injury that is probably, a domino effect of the first sprain. It's the same way that like Bud Dupree tore his ACL, right? The Titans a bunch of money after he tore his ACL, and then he missed a bunch of games because of his abdomen, right? Well, your abdomen is going to get strained if you're not confident in putting your foot in the dirt and pressing off of that ACL, and you're going to contort your abdomen in a weird way that hurts that. So that's where I view this as a correlation to the LCL sprain, even if it's not the exact same thing. So I don't think Treylon Burks is injury prone. No.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair take, but and I see Ken and I see you, Nate, in the chat. So you got all this patience for Kyle Phillips and Christian Fulton. Those guys are injury prone. Those guys are injury prone. Kyle Phillips played 4 games as a Titan. However, he's a 5th round pick, and Treylon Burks is a 1st round pick. Like you need Treylon Burks more. Austin, you made a good point, and it almost makes me. I'm not going to walk back on it because Treylon Burks has missed 10 games out of a possible 21. Like that's a bad start. But sure, the injuries have been freak. I'm just worried about both knees or one knee because you're right about the Bud Dupree thing. It's overcompensating. When I've had 5 surgeries on 5 different joints, so I understand this a little bit deeper.
Good Lord.
You know,
Can
so
you even walk through a metal detector?
yes, I can. I have no metal in me. I have no metal in me. But when you tear a muscle, sometimes those muscles around it aren't really strengthened, and that's why when you see a guy come back from a hamstring injury, he's got a bad knee then. Or a guy with a bad calf ends up tearing his Achilles because you're putting more stress on different muscles that aren't as strong due to a tear somewhere else in that same vicinity. So Traylon Burks, sure, this could be an overcompensation issue. It's just 11. He's played 11 games out of 21. I need to see more of him. Thankfully, we haven't had a season-ending injury, so it's hard to really throw that tag on him fully without missing a full season. But it's just a sporadic production we've gotten from him, and really just his availability has not been strong. And Kyle Phillips is a little different. Like, of course, Kyle Phillips is more injury prone than Traylon Burks. But at what point do you start calling Traylon Burks injury prone? What more do you need to see? It's who knows how long this is. We don't really know the full details of what's going on right now. We're having to guess, kind of. So it's a worry for Traylon Burks' injury history is absolutely a worry. How could it not be?
So the Titans have played 21 games. I have Traylon Burks playing in 14 games. Are you counting, like, he got hurt in the first quarter against the Eagles and he got hurt in the first half against the Colts? Are you counting those as missed because he left?
Traylon Burks?
Yeah. Because he's
I
played.
haven't even counted those.
I have him in 14 games. 11 last season, 2 of the ones he got hurt in, and 3 so far this season.
Okay, yeah, you got that right. I missed the 3 this year, but still, it's too many games that he's missed.
So
he's missed a third of the games.
He's finished 12 of 21 games.
Yeah, not good enough.
Yeah,
multiple injuries, 2 years in. It's just a bad start, and it's not his fault. Again, it's not his fault, but it's a bad start.
Yeah. Last thing, Kane super chat says, question, is the franchise cursed at wide receiver? Yeah. You new here? Yes.
Welcome to the party, Kane.
No, Kane is not new here at all. So all right, let's we'll put that to bed for the day. We'll kind of see what happens. Sam will be back at practice, and he'll have Titans at 2 after practice today. With what happens with Traylon Burks on the Thursday practice. But Jack, it is now time for the Magic Bucket, and we've got some updates for the chat here on the Magic Bucket. So we'll do that here in a second. Shout out, as always, to Wilson County Hyundai, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon. Just go say hey to our friend Payne Bone, who runs things up there at Wilson County Hyundai for your new ride. wilsoncountyhyundai.com for the Magic Bucket. But Jack, you do not have to do extra Magic Bucket pulls today because we have the actual receipt. You went to Taco Bell. This was last Thursday.
Look at that.
When was this? Last Thursday. Yes. Last Thursday, September 28th at 1:49 p.m. You talked to Tavion at the Powell Avenue T-Bell, and you ordered not $15 of food, but $17.99 after tax of food. We'll go through it. You got the combo, a cheesy gordita crunch, a beefy crunch wrap taco supreme, nacho fries, a large mountain blast. That's where to go. 2 nacho. What is the nacho DTL? What is that?
That would be a Doritos Locos taco. Also.
Doritos Locos taco. Okay. So you got the big box combo and 2 Doritos Locos tacos with $17.99 on the price tag. Before we
got that out. There's some great comments. Hello, lady says that he thinks he got that receipt out of the trash can. Mr. Jones says that he thinks he found it in the parking lot. There's cheese sauce all over that damn thing.
All over it. Some of that nacho
gross.
cheese went to the receipt. I see. I mean, it's the perfect looking Taco Bell receipt. Greasy, spilled sauce on it, just looking disgusting. So people aren't believing you.
Well, and for the people who don't exactly know why I would order $17 worth of food at Taco Bell, Austin got to pick my lunch and decided $15 at Taco Bell would suffice. And so I got there and I texted some friends. I asked the chat, and kind of came up with my order, and it was hell on earth to take down, to be honest. I texted Austin, I couldn't finish it all. I gave it a hell of a run though. I made it like all the way through, ate like a third of the last Doritos Locos taco. The Gordita Crunch, I think is what it's called, was the best item of the bunch. The fries were a little suspect to me. They had a good crisp, a good crunch. But that I didn't order the nacho fry. I thought they just had regular fries. I wonder if.
All right, so I will back Jack up on this because I have text thread, right? I've got text from Jack on Thursday, September 28th at 1:47 p.m. It's the Taco Bell drive-through picture. And then he goes, "Oh, hell." And then 16 minutes later, Jack says at 2:03, "I'm sick." And I say, "Where's my receipt?" And he immediately responds with the receipt. And he goes, "I couldn't down it all, but I put up a good fight. Now we head to the toilet."
Yeah, well, I ate it in the parking lot. Listened to a little 104.5. And if anyone pulled up on me, they'd be like, "Oh my God, this guy is a loser. Look at him housing all this Taco Bell by himself in a car."
Himself.
But Borgington, good question. Diablo or mild? I got a variety spice. I said, "Can I have one of each?" And they said, "Oh, the variety spice thing." And I was like, "Sure, yeah, man."
Yeah, I mean, you get the mild, hot, Diablo, and fire.
Yeah, and I don't know what the difference is between any of them. I just kind of grabbed whatever my hands could hold on to, and yeah, it was a roller coaster to say the least.
Yeah, how did your Eric asked the important question. How did your car smell after that?
Oh, not good. I mean, how does it? It takes like 5 to 7 business days for your car to smell good after that.
Ugh. All right, so you did it. Congratulations. Now it's time for the bucket. I will pull first. Let's see what we got here. Oh no! You get to do the same thing for me. Now you get to pick my meal.
Yeah. Okay, well,
you pick my meal.
No,
you can think about it. You can think about it some more. I'll go ahead and start pulling. Damn, that one, the karma always comes strong with the magic bucket because now I have to go eat whatever Jack wants me to eat.
Chat, help me out here. What should Austin eat? Send some suggestions here.
So you got an easy one, Jack. So as we wait for some suggestions, you have to just as if you're in a debate and you're giving me a persuasive speech, what is your favorite color and why? What is your favorite color and why?
Okay. Well, I've already got my favorite color.
Well, bring it on. Yeah.
Okay. Blue is the best color. Blue is the best color. It's the color of the sky. It's the color of the ocean. Some say the ocean's reflection is why the sky is blue. Nobody really knows, but the Titans are two-tone blue. Blue is the best color in the world. It's really unbeatable. The prettiest eyes are always blue eyes. The bluebird is the prettiest bird. Let's see what else. Blueberries is probably the best, fruit you can put in a muffin. So it's really a runaway. Blue is absolutely the best color.
Very well done. I did not know you were going to talk the blueberries.
Neither.
A to Z's logo is blue, right?
A to Z is blue. Yes, that's correct. Everything good in this world is blue.
There you go. All
right,
so Jack. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so Jack, what do I have to eat for my next lunch? Remember my dietary choices as well.
Okay, that's fine. I think I can account for that
because there's plenty of nasty ass vegetarian things that I can go eat.
Yeah. There's only one place in my mind that is worse than $15 at Taco Bell. And that is $15 at Jack in the Box. So I'm going to send you to Jack in the Box.
Oh.
See if you can run up a $15 tab over there.
Oh.
I know. I've never had Jack in the Box. I think when I was in middle school, there was an E. coli scare, and that kind of turned me off of it as a whole.
Yeah, Jack in the Box. Is there
Couldn't
Jack
even tell
in
you
the
what's
Box
on the
near
I think
me?
they have dollar tacos. I want to say is a staple over there.
Locations Jack in the Box. Headquarters out of San Diego. Yes, allow my location. Where are we at here? Come on now. Why can't I gotta type in my whole zip code and everything? This is ridiculous. Okay, there's one on Charlotte 3 miles away. So I've got some Jack in the Box options.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know I don't know what their menu consists of. I'm guessing they have some things, but $15 at Jack in the Box.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Okay.
Mini
All right.
taco. Matt suggests the mini tacos. Greasiest tacos in history. They're dollar tacos, chef kiss. Okay. There's a start for you. And Trey's pulling up the menu right now.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the menu too. Come on, give me the menu. Start your. I can go ahead and order this thing if I want.
Surely they've got a salad option.
Okay. I can do some stuff. We can.
You think so? You can make it work over there?
Yeah. Let me just see. Let's see what they got here. No vegetarian cheeseburgers. Let's go to the taco section. Loaded tiny tacos. That sounds interesting. Okay.
Do you think you can make this work, or should I pivot? I've got a pivot option.
I would. I need to know ingredients here. You might want to have a backup.
Okay, you're a tough cookie. I forget that you're a tough cookie here. My backup is going to be Burger King. I think Burger King, because I know they have an Impossible Burger.
Yeah, I've had to eat that twice. So $15 at Burger King.
You've already done this before? A Burger King punishment?
Yeah. And no, I'm a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan. I eat eggs every day. I eat dairy. So I have been a vegetarian for over 3 years at this point.
Pretty impressive. I'm trying to.
My guy Size call me names because I eat healthy.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's
I've got you, Austin. $15 at Panda Express. That'll be the backup.
Oh, okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, that can work.
Oh man, I love the dread in your voice. You sound excited.
I'm not. Bald and Bearded asks, you don't miss steaks? I haven't had beef in 7 years.
Wow.
No, I don't miss it. I feel great. Your 30s are great if you do it right.
That's pretty impressive. 7 years, no beef.
7 years.
Do you remember the last instance you had beef? Was it a special occasion?
Special in a way. Yeah, I was leaving College Station after watching the Vols lose in triple overtime to Texas A&M. 2 days after I got sucker punched in a Texas A&M bar, had a gash in my face and had half a tooth down here. Went to the game the next day, lost in triple overtime. Then on the way back to the Dallas airport, stopped at a Whataburger, hungover as all get out, and tried to down a Whataburger combo, and it did not go well. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. That was my last.
Stinks. I hate that you had that experience in College. It's probably my favorite college town to visit. I love College Station.
I was at the bar, crowded bar Friday night, had two beers in hand, turned around, wham! Somebody with an Aggie ring got me right in the nose.
They've all got them.
Yep, right in the nose, and then my top tooth broke my bottom tooth in half. So, gosh, now I have a fake half a tooth on the bottom. So there's that A to Z sports history.
Yeah, blame it on the beef. We'll have to chalk that up to the beef. That was beef two ways. You had beef. There was beef with the Vols, and then beef with
at an agricultural school.
Yeah, true.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us. Sam will be live today. Titans at 2, Mondays and Thursdays with Sam Phelan, presented by Doughbird in Green Hills. Doughbird in Green Hills. But Sam will be there after or live after Titans practice today. We'll find out some injury updates from the Titans and maybe what NPF does on the left side of the O-line later today. But also Buck Rising live tonight for A to Z Sports Primetime. Make sure you hit the like button on the show. We appreciate you guys. So please hit the like button on Facebook and on YouTube before you head out of here. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning on a Friday. Appreciate it as always.
Tighten Up Podcast.